Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Guys, today is going to be the rant video. I was gonna do the rant video for a minute, but the reason why I haven't done it is because just haven't had the motivation. You know, I'm just doing content and trying not to be as negative as possible for you guys, obviously for the content creation side of things, because honestly, I delete a lot of footage in the player reviews to give you guys a good time as much as I possibly can, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I think that this game is a colossal piece of garbage. I think the franchise for FIFA is a colossal piece of garbage. Now, before I get started with the actual rant, I do need to say that I do appreciate you guys watching the content, watching all the stuff, because at the end of the day, you guys support me in my life. You know, YouTube pays me well enough, and that's 100% because of you guys. Guys, it's not just a money thing when I talk about these types of things, because if it was, I would never talk poorly about this game. I would just create the content that I know that I can create through YouTube. I would do streams because streams is such a massive part of content creation nowadays. And, you know, do that while doing the YouTube would be absolutely nuts. But I cannot mentally play this game with the way that it still is after like 10 plus years, okay? So I have a couple things to talk about. The first and the most important thing to talk about is the inconsistent gameplay issue that I have talked about for 10 plus years. If you guys go and search inceptionxx or inceptionfc and you search inconsistent gameplay or bad versus good gameplay, you will see a video all the way from 2014 up until now of me complaining about it every single year, okay? So this is the level of incompetence and borderline stupidity that I think that people at EA just they're on this level there, and it will not change because they have no idea how to fix it, and it will not be any different for next year's game. Guys, for me, I don't mind it. I'm a content creator in this game. I do hate it. I'm not going to say that I don't hate it, but I appreciate my lifestyle like crazy, okay? Like crazy. And let me tell you guys something, okay? Just because I as a person, I'm willing to tell you that I think this game is garbage does not mean that other content creators don't. At the end of the day, it's their lifeline. It's the money that they make. It supports their lifestyle. So they're not going to talk about it. But for me, guys, you guys know I've never cared. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to tell you how I feel, because for people to play this game normally and create content normally, and for everybody just to pretend like this game isn't a pile of garbage, absolute nuisance to society, is mind-blowing to me personally. Because I think when it comes down to the problems of this game, I honestly don't think anyone is more vocal than I am about this one specific issue by itself, the bad versus good gameplay, because people always bring up scripting, handicap, and momentum. And what you're telling me when you talk about these three things is, you know, it could be a form of it. It could be a form. It's not specifically those three words, but it could be a form of it within the coding of the game that makes your players behave the way that they do most of the times. If you guys are new to FIFA and you don't know what inconsistent gameplay or good and bad gameplay is, it is basically the general feel of how your players feel when it comes to dribbling, when it comes to passing, when it comes to shooting, when it comes to you timing your strikes, the amount of emphasis. I'm going to do this with my shoulders a lot, okay? Because this is what the game does when it feels at its worst, which is 90 to 95% of the times, right? Is every single time they touch the ball, it's never quick and responsive like it was in my Timo Werner video at 70%, not at 100%. It was at 70%, okay? My mood from this video right now and that Timo Werner video, go watch the difference. This version of me does not exist if you give me at least the best version of your gameplay, which is not a bad thing to ask for, because your inconsistent gameplay issue in FIFA EA is not a leg issue, okay? I'm sick of it. It is some sort of coding issue or thing that you have intended to add into your game entirely to make people feel like they always need to get better cards, this and that. But even that wouldn't make sense, because it's so sick to use multiple cards when the game plays at its best, but you just don't get it all the time, okay? Like I said, go watch the Timo Werner video and go see how fast and responsive it is. Go see the top comment on that video without me saying a word about inconsistent gameplay that entire video. Go see what the first comment is. It's about how fast the game is, because people who have experienced this enough, they can tell the difference. Because if you just watch that one clip of me doing a Berba cancel with Timo Werner, you're gonna be like, what did I just see? right? And it was amazing how fast he was able to do it, or just the attacking plays in general. Guys, inconsistent gameplay, for the 10th year probably in a row of me talking about it, it affects everything in your game. Let me tell you guys something, because I'm going to go after a lot of people in the community, okay? When you play a game like FIFA, you are already part rat, okay? In order for me to create content on this game, I would say, at least at a 30 to 40% rat ratio, right? That's where I'm at, 30 to 40%, because the fact that I am willing to play this game when it feels like this already makes me a rat. Because let me tell you guys something, normal Inception, normal person me doesn't play this game ever since FIFA 17. Done. Okay? Because I was not going to deal with multiple years of inconsistent gameplay all the time, and for nobody to talk about it and for us to deal with it on a consistent basis. Guys, it affects everything. Your attacking AI is worse. Your passing buildup is worse. When your player passes the ball, you can tell he's putting emphasis on the pass, and the pass doesn't register properly. The amount of times where I make a pass in that direction and then I want a left stick in the opposite direction, but then he passes it in that direction because it doesn't register what I wanted to do before, multiple times, right? Multiple times. The amount of times I hold the left stick in a general direction and it takes a billion years, light years, for my player to make that turn, ridiculous. And then here's the kicker. You want to see the kicker about this whole situation is that your players feel horrible, right? But then you guys have this pressure tactic situation where it makes your attacking AI even worse, and it makes your dribbling even worse. Those two mechanics, they were already bad when the gameplay felt bad, but now they're even worse because those are mechanics in your game. Someone activates the pressure tactics, your players turn into, and this is even when your gameplay is good, they turn into the biggest idiots you will ever see in your entire life. These guys do not know how to move across the pitch. They have no idea. And here's the thing. Here's EA's solution to all of these problems is garbage mechanics, right? Oh, we gotta utilize the player lock system. Your player lock mechanic that you added into the game, the reason why you guys added it is because you do hot fixes for your game. You want to add some lazy garbage like a player lock system, which completely takes away from what makes an individual card authentic. I have to control the movement of another card because you're so incompetent to make proper attacking AI, right? On a consistent basis. Can I show you guys an example of what I'm talking about from an attacking play that I personally liked because of the types of movements I can see in advance? Okay. You see this clip right here? You see how the pitch is really green and light? This is PC gameplay. When I was using Timo Werner, this is Chouameni. This is PC gameplay. This gameplay is at least set at 65% because for some reason, when I play on the PC version of gameplay, I will more likely than not, because it still happens there too, but I will more likely than not get consistent gameplay on that than I do on the console version of your game. Disgusting how bad your console version is most of the times. I don't know if it's because of the hertz being higher that I could play at 120. I couldn't tell you guys what it is, right? But there's certain things that I just wouldn't be able to do on a consistent basis. I'm nerfed, essentially, when I play the game, right? Okay, so let me just show you guys this one attacking play, and you guys tell me if you like it, okay? And I'll tell you some things. I do a lot of good attacking plays. You guys watch attack videos, there's a lot of good ones, and there's 70 to 80% garbage goals, because it's the meta of this game, right? Which we'll talk about. Okay, let's just watch this goal. All right, little passing play right here. Get the ball at 20 Kroos, Elastico, L1, a couple of dribbles, boom, 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 goal, right? Okay, can I tell you guys what I think is not ratty gameplay? Not ratty gameplay is seeing things in advance and building up an authentic attacking build-up play, okay? That's what it is for me personally. I want you guys to notice who scored that opportunity. Jude Bellingham, which is another thing we're going to get into, okay? Guys, this attacking play, the reason why I like it so much, and this is what for me makes a gameplay not ratty, is because of plays that you are seeing in advance and your players are adapting to it. There was no situation where I had to use a player lock system. It's the individual intelligence of an individual card that makes you score these opportunities, okay? So let's take a look at the highlights of this opportunity again, right? So, this is the next game. Is this the next game? When did I score this goal? Was it here? Yeah, it was right here. Okay. This is the way that I like to view football in a video game. This is what I think is skilled when things are happening as they're happening. So, first of all, the gameplay is not slow and unresponsive and complete garbage in this gameplay. It's at least, I would say, at like a 60%, 65% if I'm going to do percentage-wise, because on the Timo Werner video, that was like 70, 75, and it was like really nice to play. You'll never see me complain once, right? I complain and I get mad when I score opportunities when the gameplay is not up to par, which I'll show you guys, okay? Okay, so something that I like about this play is the constant adapting, because the attacking AI is actually going to work decent because the gameplay doesn't feel horrible, right? But it's this part specifically, okay? It's seeing a play in advance that I like a lot, and it's the player's individual brilliance. So, I'm doing a couple build-up plays here, but this is the part right here that I like a lot, okay? So, watch Jude Bellingham, watch Jude Bellingham in this general position, okay? And look at the run that he's making, adapting to what I'm doing 2 steps ahead, okay? This is what I think is good coding in the game, okay? When someone actually does this on a consistent level. He makes his pass. Look at Jude Bellingham. You don't see it yet. You don't see it yet, but when I'm playing, I can see exactly what I want to do when the moment comes. You understand? Because it's going to be based off of reaction and quickness. This play cannot happen 95% of the times I play this game, okay? I want you to see something. Look at Jude Bellingham the moment I make this pass. He hasn't done it yet. The moment I make the pass, gone. Because he's adapting to where the open space is, and he's going into it quickly. Guess what, though? Every time I do a review for midfielders, guys, what do I tell you guys all the time? That Jude Bellingham is the best midfielder in the game. Your midfielders are genuinely idiotic in this game because your attacking AI is so garbage against the park the bus meta most of the times, okay? Jude Bellingham is one of the few people that will actually make an intelligent run like this where I can lay the ball off to him because the defensive player is pushing he's pushing pressure against me in this situation, right? I make this pass, he switches, and I do a skilled thing where he overcommits a defender and I have open space here, but my player is smart enough to get into that space and all I have to do is shoot to the near post and score a nice opportunity. I rarely get goals like this, but these are the goals that I will do anything in this world for. And I'm not gonna say on a consistent level because on this game you got to do 70 to 80% garbage to score, okay? And we'll be talking about those patterns of play. That's what I would like to see on a consistent basis. The next step, or the next thing that I want to talk about from that clip, right, is this, okay? Guys, this is genuinely the worst year to do player reviews for cards that are not S tier. The worst one, man. Let me tell you guys why, okay? The only way for you to like a physical type player, right, is if you are an R-trigger merchant or you get someone who's actually unique, like Petr Cech, who is 100% an R-trigger merchant, but Petr Cech actually provides you with good attacking AI stuff. Most of your strikers in this game have horrendous attacking AI. Horrendous. And it's weird because I can't fully judge it. Because we're going to be talking about that in a bit here, right? Because your park the bus meta is so prevalent. Let's talk about the park the bus meta here for a second, okay? This park the bus meta is set up like this. I have a setup in a 4-3-2-1 because that's what most people use in this game. If you guys are unaware, right? A pitch like this is what it looks like. The park the bus meta is this. So let's say, for instance, we were to have a line. This is the line right here, right? That's the line. In this game, the meta is to have this, 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 and this. And then these guys are around this general area right here. And that's what you play against every single game. You play against this every single game because EA by default made this game park the bus oriented. You can have such an attacking oriented formation and your team will still revert back to park the bus. Now, obviously, even with your attacking oriented formation, it's still going to be open on the counterattacks if you use those types of formation, which is another thing we're going to talk about, right? But a lot of people, what they're going to revert to is a park the bus tactic, because here's the problem, right? So when you're attacking against this, what do you have to do against this defensive line every single time? You completely, almost completely get rid of attacking AI entirely, right? Because if someone is parking the bus this badly, what runs do you think these guys are going to make? Unless you are talking about the drag back, right? Not the drag back skill move. I'm talking about the drag back attacking AI that everybody does. So if you guys are unaware of what I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is this. The direct passing tactic. If you don't use direct passing in this game, these players are genuinely moronic, okay? Direct passing. What direct passing is that you are essentially adding pressure to the defensive players on a consistent basis. This is exactly how the formation is set up, right? So you'll have your one defensive mid like this, but your entire buildup is based off of your players being ahead of the defenders and for the defenders to be behind. When you are attacking in certain spaces, like you're going on a counter attack, right? And this is like your midfielders over here. Your midfielders are over here, and then these guys are over here. These, like, I'm attacking the space. Let's just do a squiggly. I'm attacking this space right here, right? That's the type of space I'm attacking over on the right-hand side. What do you wait for every single time, guys? You wait for this exact same movement on a consistent basis. There in this game, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to get into the R-Trigger merchant people, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. Is the attacking plays that you guys deal with on a consistent basis not these exact same plays? This guy will overcommit. You will commit this play over here. This guy will overcommit. This guy will commit a little bit. This guy will commit a little bit. And this is how your midfield setup is going to be set up, right? Let me know if I'm wrong, okay? Because I'm going to get into the R-Trigger merchants in a bit here. Do you not wait for the track back, and then you decide to pass the ball either here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here, because this guy at some point is going to get here, and then what your guy over here does is an elastico to score an opportunity. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is that not one of the patterns that you consistently play against all the time? It is, right? Because your opponent is always constantly looking for that drag back every single time. It's always that constant drag back with these players. Okay? That's the attacking play on a consistent level. You get to this position, you hope for the overcommitment, because what happens is that this guy over here is going to go back and he's going to create the space for the attacker like this, and then you are going to do the same linear garbage on a consistent basis. This is when it's up against the park the bus stuff, right? So you're going to make this pass over here, and then what are you going to do afterwards, guys? You're maybe going to go for an elastico over here, and then you're going to wait. You're going to wait for this guy to get over here. You're going to elastico here, make the pass, and then what you aim for is one small drag touch, because when it's against the AI, right, the AI is going to push in that direction, right? When you make the touch like this, in this direction, and the AI is going a little bit higher over here because the dragging is crazy from the manual stuff, all you have to do is just shoot to the near post. That's two different mechanics that I'm now showing you. Okay, now let me know if this other mechanics is not the one that is not the other one that you guys deal with on a consistent basis. Let's say, because this is a counter-attacking game, EA bringing back the pace. Let me know if this is not what you face on a consistent basis, okay? Okay, so how many times do you guys go on the counterattack, right? And then every single time you go on the counterattack, this is exactly how it goes down, okay? So, this stuff we have to, can I get rid of that? Oh, beautiful. This website's amazing for this. Okay, so we have to add the line here. We have to add this line because this line is where your defense always lines up. It's always over here. These guys always go here every single time, okay? If your park the bus doesn't work well enough. Okay, you guys let me know if your attacking AI also doesn't work this way. So when you are on the counterattack, right, and you're playing the 4-3-2-1, does your player not start from the build-up over here, right? You go down here, All you do, because EA brought back pace, you run the entire time. Just run the entire time. Nothing. Just running. Just holding our trigger. You just run the entire time. You wait for this guy to get in here. You go for one driven pass. And then all he has to do is shoot it on target. Tell me that doesn't happen to you as well. That's 3 down. Okay? That's 3 down. And then the other play style, right, that people will utilize, this is the 4 play styles that I always talk about. The other play style is this. You have your defenders. It's a 4-back, right? I deleted one of the things here by accident. That's what I just noticed. It's a 4-back. Oh, there's also another one that I have to mention. So there's 5 actually, right? It's a 4-back, right? Okay, your attackers, direct passing. So this is what your players are doing the entire time. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. It's direct. You're not direct. It's direct. When my opponent gets to a general area on the pitch, I can almost feel my soul being drained from my body because he's a rat! Okay? You get into a position over here, in the side position, and what do you always aim for? You always wait for your players to get ahead of the defenders like this, and then you just go for your touch into your Illogical. Your touch that ends up going like this. This guy goes over here, you get the ball over here, right? This guy, maybe you fake him out on the left stick a little bit, right? Maybe he overcommits a little bit. You get this passing area here, you're up against the defender. And then what does your player do? Your player does an L1 touch. I'll show you guys the mechanics I'm talking about, right? Your player does an L1 touch. And this is what he does, right? L1, Illogical. L1, Illogical. And then you shoot. I faced a guy the other day that was using Alphonso Davies up top, okay? And he did an Illogical against me 3 different times, and it would just break the defensive AI every time. It was this, and then it was this. And the thing is that he would create that space just from doing that the entire time, right? So that's the other attacking play, is the L1 Illogical stuff. Illogical into this, Illogical into that, a lot of the times, right? Guys, this playstyle in the game is complete garbage, okay? You are not special to score these types of goals. You only think you are special because you willingly play this game like a little rat because that's what the game requires you to do. That's what I'm mentioning earlier, that if you willingly play this game, you're already 30 or 40% rat because there's no way to avoid this. If you play in the top divisions, this is what people do on a consistent basis. People very rarely score a goal like this, right? Where they try to attack space a certain way. Boom, boom, touch, shot, right? Very rarely does that happen when you create open space, because what happens is that a lot of the times these guys over here, they're going to be parked in a line like this. And if your gameplay is bad, your attacking AI just doesn't work. And if it does work, and even if it is fast and responsive, they're still lined up in a back 4 like this, too close to the goalkeeper. So there's no attacking AI at all. You guys, I'm not joking. When it gets to this position, you literally have to go backwards. You have to go backwards, all the way backwards, for the team to open up for your direct passing, for your AI, not for you to intelligently break down an attack, but for your AI to do the work for you again and to wait for that track back. The amount of people that you face, right, that you face on a consistent basis that play like this, let me show you guys, okay? Let me show you guys on a consistent basis what these guys do, okay? So we'll delete a few things here and there. All right. Let's move this over here, over here, over here, over here, here, and here. Oh, this is the line because I have to put this line. This line is very important for the defenders that you come up against all the time, right? The park the bus meta. The park the bus meta alone, complete trash. And I hate you guys for never changing it the entire year, okay? Okay. What do the rats do against you? Because they know that this game has a default park the bus. You can have the most open tactics possible. What do the rats do when you have a park the bus tactic? They pass, 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 they pass. No space here. They pass, 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 they pass. Do you know why they do this? Because they know that your team by default does this. Your team by default does this. So what does that do to you as the player that's playing this game? You have to force yourself out. Not because you are a rat, but it's because the game has forced you to be a rat because of the default, no matter what tactic you use, park the bus settings. So now you got to switch to some sort of tactic that is like a pressure tactic or this tactic or that tactic. And what's the solution that EA does? What's the hot fix that they do? They mark every single player in the game, right? So if I take all of these arrows out, what is EA's solution to this problem? Their solution is to do this, right? To do this. Every single person marked. But not only is every single person marked, which is impossible to do IRL because these guys would be exhausted, right? But they're marked like this, every single person marked. But you know what the worst part about it is that you can switch to whatever custom tactic you want. And if you are in a situation like this where there's someone putting pressure against you, imagine your gameplay being bad, right? Which it is most of the time. So your dribbling is absolutely horrendous. You can be using the best right back in the game when it comes to left stick dribbling, and he feels horrible, right? But the worst part about this whole situation is that if you're here and your player's ahead, your player, possession playstyle, bounce playstyle, whatever playstyle, will always have this pressure against him. And this pressure, especially when the gameplay is bad, the pressure tactic, the AI doing the stuff for you, will always throw off this card, right? And here's the thing, even if you manage to get this pass off, this guy doesn't come close to you to support right away. You know how many times players will never do this if there isn't a pressure tactic, but when there's a pressure tactic, they want to run away and have all this space for you, and then there's just more pressure tactics that act against your players like crazy. It is not a skill to activate a pressure tactic and for you to think that defending is a skill, because defending, my friend, is not a skill in this game, okay? Which is going to lead me into the individual game mechanics that we haven't talked about yet, okay? So let's talk about the goalkeeper first. I don't care what anybody says. And this is in a more idealistic world. I don't care what anybody says. This is not an argument that I can have with anybody. Manual goalkeeping from 1v1 situations like this is stupid, okay? Manual goalkeeping from 1v1 is stupid, all right? The skill in the game is not for you to predict where the shot is. The skill in a game of football should be you defending this general opportunity and not to overcommitting certain people, right? You get this attacking player, boom, boom, boom. Here's the problem, right? I got into this position, I'm using Bellingham, I didn't have to green time a strike. Why do I have to deal with green time finishing, which I'm going to get into because I actually like the shoot. I like the shooting mechanics at a 70-75%, which guys, you guys know me, I'm very harsh on this game. If you get me at a 70-75%, you did a good job, okay? Why is it that in a situation like this, I have to think about green time finishing? Because let's say, for instance, with Bellingham, right, who has a 5-star week for on the team of the season, not the team of the year. I think the team of the year is a 4-star. Why do I have to think about green time finishing to the far right side, right? If he had a 5-star weak foot, why do I have to look at my player's shooting animation, his legs, the way that's responding, especially when the game plays bad? Because when the game plays bad, good luck to you to time your shots, okay? Especially when you're using the physical strikers or the physical attackers. But why is it that I have to look at my individual player, but I also have to look at the goalkeeper? So my eyes need to be, I think I actually, if you guys look into my eyes, I think I'm cross-eyed. Look. I think I'm cross-eyed. I think so, and I think it's because of this game. I think so. Let me know if I'm cross-eyed, okay? Because you have to look at your individual player, because every card has a different animation to shoot. Sometimes they take longer, sometimes they're quicker, sometimes people do pop shots like crazy. So I have to look at my player's foot to green time a strike, but I also have to look in my peripherals to see if this guy moves his goalkeeper to the right or to the left. No, Don't reward him when he's already been broken down defensively, okay? Don't do that. You have a variable like timed finishing in your game that doesn't even work fully, okay? Let me show you guys a very good example. I hope I have this tweet here still, right? I just deleted that footage, so we're probably gonna be thing there. Okay, this is a clip that Nick sent me a while ago. This was April 29th, okay? Can I show you guys something? All right. Does this make sense to you? Because here's what happens. Twitch kids, the Twitter kids, the rats, they come to you and they're like, oh, you should have done this. First of all, don't come into any gameplay guy that plays FIFA who is playing in bad and unresponsive gameplay and say the words, you should have. There's no such thing as you should have when your gameplay is slow and unresponsive, because all you're doing the entire time is your brain has to compensate for what you're not trying to do for what you're trying to do. Do you know how many times I have an empty net when you guys are looking at it as a viewer, and I don't shoot at the empty net because my brain is still compensating for what my player was doing before? There's no compensating when I had that Timo Werner gameplay, so you'll never hear me complain like this. But most of the times you do have to compensate, okay? So people are like, oh, you should have made this pass. Maybe I would have if my brain didn't have to compensate for the mechanics that I had to do, okay? Okay, let's watch this clip, okay? Okay, this guy he's playing against, right? This is Kylian Mbappe, the best striker in the game. Nobody touches this card. Nobody. Attacking AI, shooting, everything. Gold Mbappe, rare gold Mbappe, better than 95% of the strikers in this game. Please tell me how this makes any sort of logical sense for him to manual goalkeep to the right side. He goes for a power strike, greens the power strike, but misses the entire net. In what logical world does this make sense? And here's the thing. When I was watching this clip on Twitch, when he was showing it, when I was seeing it in the Twitter comment section, people give excuses. Why didn't you just do a tap shot? Why didn't you just shoot the ball normally? This is idiotic, okay? By the ways, if he does no manual goalkeeping whatsoever, he should score this opportunity regardless, because look at where he's positioned, okay? You're done. You're done. If you white time a strike, EA, because listen, you guys have gotten me to a point, and I mentioned this in past videos for the gameplay rant, you have gotten me to a point where I actually don't mind your time finishing. I don't mind it. The only reason why I do right now is because when the gameplay is slow and unresponsive, which it is most of the time, it is harder to time the strikes because they take so long to do stuff, okay? But this strike right here, guys, if you're playing the game normally, I'm sorry, you're done. You're done, and you should concede. And here's the thing, bro. He's losing 2-1. If this is me on stream, Nick, you know what Nick does, bro? Nick just plays with it nowadays. You know, he does the memes and stuff in his chat. He plays with it. If this is me, I'm freaking out. I'm turning off my stream. I'm not playing this garbage. How do you create a concept like this, right? Where you green time a strike inside the 18-yard box, facing, this is the angle I've always mentioned over the last 10 years. This angle right here, this is what you're facing. And you green time a strike and you miss the opportunity. You're insane. So that's manual goalkeeping. I think manual goalkeeping is an absolutely horrendous mechanic, absolute garbage, nuisance to society mechanic. Absolutely hate it. Looking at it in game irritates me to my core, okay? Movement from everything else, though, I'm okay with, bro. Because listen, if someone is taking a long shot and they're just abusing the time finish from a long distance, at least I can block it out. I use manual goalkeeping, go to the far right side. Maybe I get a chance to save it. Okay, you annoy or you get rid of the garbage that people go for on a consistent basis. Guys, I do this garbage. You guys see it in the review all the time, but trust me, I'm well aware that for me to create content on this game, I have to be 30 or 40% rat to play it. You think I'm happy doing these mechanics on a consistent basis? Guys, you have no idea how much it drains me to do the same stuff over and over. That goal I score with Bellingham, the goals that I score with Timo Werner, because Timo Werner is basically my new Correa that has like the authentic attacking AI and everything, is an amazing card, right? I just, like, I don't get that all the time. So I have to do this garbage, or I face someone that parks the bus when my game feels slow and unresponsive, and then when it feels slow and unresponsive, because I am unwilling to go further into the percentage of rat. You know what I'm saying? Because guys, I have like a chart. Let's say there was a chart, and in this chart is my mental health and playing FIFA. If I'm willing to be a rat in FIFA at 30 or 40%, that means that my mental health in real life is draining by 30 or 40%. This is how I correlate both of the things together, okay? They're the same thing. So for people to abuse all of these mechanics, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. You have to be at 100% capacity from some of the guys that I face in this game that do the same thing over and over again. How is your mental health not depleting by the second, bro? Because mine is at 30 or 40%. It's not at 30 or 40% when the gameplay feels fast and responsive. Honestly, it's at like a 10% when it's fast and responsive. Even with the horrible mechanics, it's at least a 10%. So I'm like, okay, you know? But when it's bad and unresponsive, no, man. No chance, okay? Okay, let's talk about some of the individual mechanics. Because we've already brushed up on inconsistent gameplay. That reason alone will make the FIFA franchise garbage, and it will make next year's game garbage, because I know for a fact that these incompetent people will not fix it, okay? The next thing, let's talk about the individual mechanics, even if my gameplay is at its peak. We've already talked about some of them. The direct passing stuff, if you don't use direct passing in next gen, good luck to you, my friend. You can score, but your players are gonna make the most idiotic runs. And it's like, oh, you know what, EA, I wish you guys took out direct passing. But if they took out direct passing, how would we attack? Because these guys are clueless. Guys, I swear, I'm not joking, because people who play this game, we'll talk about these mechanics, okay? But when you get to this point, right, like I was mentioning earlier in this chart, when you get to a point where you hit the Elite Division and every single person's team is lined up like this, making your attacking AI almost nonsense, it's irrelevant to play this game, because you have to start doing the most garbage mechanics to score. You're not playing football, you're playing FIFA. That's what you're doing, okay? You're playing FIFA. You don't score a goal like we did there with Bellingham. You're playing FIFA at that point. Especially when your game feels slow and unresponsive, the garbage that you have to do. You have to get into this general area, L1 Elastico, and then shoot to the near post. You have to get into this general area, right? L1 Croqueta into a shot. Because your attacking AI is broken, guys. There's no more proper movements anywhere. The only way that your attacking AI, that authentic football comes back, quote unquote, authentic, because we need direct passing in this game, and it's the worst tactic ever imaginable, because it's the same garbage all the time, right? In order for you to get authentic football again, you literally have to do this and pass the ball the way back, so that their defensive players are no longer on this line right here and they actually push out a little bit. That's the only way you can bring back the authentic football. But guys, let me tell you guys something. The moment you start bringing it back, you will face people who are rats that will do this 3 or 4 times in a game. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. And the problem is, again, is that the game is default park the bus. So they'll bring it back, and then your players will just stay back there the whole entire time until you activate a pressure on heavy touch, a constant pressure, and all that kind of stuff. And it's garbage, okay? Complete trash, especially when your gameplay is slow and unresponsive. Let me tell you this right now. I'm a rat at this game 30-40% when I play it. The moment I see someone doing this, I hate you with a passion, bro. Oh my god. Oh, when I see that mechanic, this one mechanic, when I see that, oh my goodness. You know why? Because people just spam it the whole time, bro. They'll be in the defensive position and they'll just like, you know, they'll just, you know, boom, 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 boom. I can't even do it right now because I'm like so like, you know, but boom, the whole time, man. When I see that mechanic, oh, I want to leave the game immediately. How do we still have the step over acceleration this effective, bro? It's been like this for I think 3 years, and EA is just like, just leave it in the game. Just leave it in the game, mate. It's, you know, we need mechanics to. Here's what it is, bro. all the garbage mechanics that I hate in this game, they require in this game to beat the other garbage in this game. That's the issue, right? Is you gotta do this dumb, you got like you're up against this defense, right? That's in this line. So what is the solution? The solution, right, is to, like I was mentioning, right? Like I was mentioning, you're over here, you pass the ball, boom, boom, boom to a player here, boom to a player here, touch the ball at a 45, Elasco into a shot. You got to do that the whole time, right? Because you're attacking AI, there's no more. You have to go back to get that attacking AI back, or you have to go on a counterattack. Or you get lucky and you're not facing a person that's parking the bus, who's willing to park the bus, who's willing to play the game at a 100% rat capacity. They're not draining their mental health because they're a rat. They have literally transformed fully into a rat, okay? Some of the other mechanics. Manual goalkeeping, defending. Oh man, manual defending. Oh, manual defending. Oh, where do I begin with manual defending? Man, your manual defending. The amount of clips that I delete, right? The amount of clips that I have to delete where I literally yell into the mic, what is the point of me playing? There's terms that I like to use when it comes to playing FIFA. It's called manual defending and cursor defending. Cursor defending is a thing that I have brought up to people because there was a year in FIFA where EA, with their incompetence, as it usually is, right? EA did a patch in the game. They added a thing into the game where, because we used to not be able to see the cursor from the other person, right? But because these incompetent people could not figure out how we're going to create a situation where you have the cursor yourself, but then the other person doesn't have a cursor, but then we do a LAN tournament and we can see both cursors, which is an absolutely massive deal. They added the cursor for both people in the online experience, which was stupid because I really enjoyed not knowing who the other person was controlling. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just doing it themselves. I have my cursor. I don't know what they're doing, right? And this was back in the day. Nowadays, it would just be that it would be like I'm playing AI. Honestly, it would be. If I didn't see a cursor, I'd probably lose my mind because it would make me feel like I'm playing AI even more than I was before, right? But back in the day, it was great to not know what they were doing because they actually had to manually do stuff from time to time with the second man press and all that kind of stuff. But when I talk about manual defending, guys, I'm talking about cursor defending as well as the actual manual challenges you do yourself, okay? How many times do you guys do? And this is, it's really bad because this is the best year that we've ever had manual defending, the best year. And there's nothing to say about that, like good, because this is how bad manual defending has been over the course of the years. Because the only good form of defending that we used to have in the super, super old years of FIFA was skilled second man press. Second man press, I remember to this day that my boy didn't know how to attack against me because he was like, dude, you defend like a monster. Like, you know exactly where I'm going to attack because he had the attacking spaces. Second man press, you had the attacking space if you switched or you went to the middle or whatever. But I knew exactly who to mark in a certain passing space if you wanted to make a certain pass. And then I knew who the other person was to mark as well. But guys, in the old FIFAs, you would still have the third or the fourth person, but you would always constantly do it really quickly. And it worked out great. But manual defending, when I'm actually manually using the player defensively, if I go for a slide tackle or a standing tackle, complete garbage. Complete garbage. EA, why do you think it's okay for me to overcommit to center back, do a manual challenge, do a good manual challenge, but then you give the opponents back the ball, and then now they have this opening space, right? Because this is what happens. Because I like to feel like I'm manually defending. People who play this game, you don't manually defend. Don't lie to me. You use defensive AI. All of you guys, you do this. The whole time, you just use these three midfielders, and you just second man press, second man press, second man press, second. That's what you do the whole time. You just hold your midfielders, and your back four does everything for you. Do you know how many times I attack, and I'm in this area over here? EA, why am I doing a skill move against the defensive AI, and they're still tracking me the entire time perfectly, as if it's an actual person using it, and it's an actual good defender? Guys, defensive AI and attacking AI needs to be effective in this game because the manual attacking and the manual defending is horrible. listen, the defensive AI marks you the entire time unless you do one of these skill moves, right? The L1 elastical, the L1 coquette, because it makes them commit a certain way. Or like one of the passing play styles I was mentioning, where I have the ball here, I do a direct pass in this direction, right? Let me just delete that one. I do a direct pass in this direction, right? And then with this player here, once I get possession, not once I get it, but before I get possession of the ball, I take a touch this way, because the AI, if the person's using the AI, will push in this direction upwards, creating that space for me to go downwards and then for me to strike the ball to the far post, or to the near post, excuse me. That's what the play style is, because you have to do it against the AI. The reason why these skill moves here, where people spam the L1 into a croqueta or spam the L1 into an elastical, is because it breaks the AI. And it already creates an attacking space for you to either shoot it across goal or to the near post. Okay? Manual defending, the tackles, absolutely horrendous. It's like a hidden mechanic, right? Sometimes you guys watch the player reviews when I'm defending with a card, and I'm like, oh, it's good because he magnetized to the ball. EA, let me tell you something, okay? To make your game logical, all right? You guys added this setting that I think you guys hide nowadays. I think you hid this setting because you knew that I used to complain about this all the time, and you hid this setting nowadays, okay? Why is it that you still have this mechanic, right? Where I'm attacking, let's say, for instance, with this card over here. No, my opponent is. This is the blue one is my opponent, and this is me, right? Why do you still create a situation, right, where I, with the cursor, right? I'm gonna put a little hexagon on my head, okay? With the cursor, this is a black cursor right now, right? With the cursor, I am marking this area here. If my opponent does a through pass or he does a pass into me, why do you still have this mechanic where it avoids the defensive player? It's still in your game. I know it's still in your game. I don't know if it's in the settings like you showed it before, because guys, if you watch the old Rant videos when I talked about this before, you'll see the assisted settings for passing, and it literally tells you avoid defensive player. Why is that a mechanic when I am manually defending the space? If you do a through pass or you do a pass with the cursor, maybe without the cursor, whatever, right? But with the cursor, why do you not reward the person with that constant magnetization? Because I know that you're going to make that pass. Where's the magnetization and where's the reward for me knowing you're going to do that? If I am holding the cursor in that area and the person makes the pass in that area, I should get the ball, because they can see who I'm controlling. So they should pass it elsewhere, if anything. Manual defending, horrible. Guys, how many times do you guys get into this position over here in the side area, right? You're in the side area over here, and you or your opponent does a manual challenge against you, and I would say 90% or 95% of the times, they always, for some reason, have to push the ball so far and put it out of play. This is coded into the game because they want to force throw-ins, okay? Because you will do a good manual challenge if you face him at an angle. Like if the guy is, like, you see how Mbappe's facing? Let me see, because I have to face it for you guys for the angle. It's opposite for me, right? It's kind of hard to do this, right? Okay, I'm facing this direction. If the guy is slightly behind me and he does a hard challenge or a hard slide tackle and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in, that makes sense. But when I am straight into you, right? Straight into you, why do you just have to put it out every single time? I go over here, right? I go over here into this area, chilling over here. I'm attacking. Let me just delete this real quick. I go over here. I'm defending against the guy. Every single time, the ball always has to do this, or it has to do this, or you know what? In this game, might as well do this and go out. Might as well. Every single time, man. Manual defending, absolute garbage in this game. Not skill-based. People abuse defensive AI like crazy. Here's the thing, man. Let's talk about the defensive AI. Defensive AI is so ridiculously overpowered. There's a skill move that I use. This new skill move we're going to talk about, right? This one right here. You know, I talked about this before the game even came out. But do you know what the one thing is that I quote unquote like about the skill move? And the reason why I say quote unquote is because you have to do this stupidity to score goals in this game. This skill move over here is an effective way when you are facing the defensive line in this area over here, right? This area over here, let me just get that line back. This area here, when the defensive players are there and your opponent, you get past that line, this garbage line that you have to face every single year, but then your goalkeeper starts to push against you, basically acting like a defender a lot of the time and closing the gap. You need skill moves to get past the goalkeeper. So one of the skill moves that I used to use back in the day, 3-4 years ago, you guys remember this because I used to use it every single time, was if I'm facing the goalkeeper, heel to get past them and then shoot the ball. But this new heel to heel is better because it's controlled, right? So you do this and look at how much it commits the goalkeeper. The only reason why I like this skill move, quote unquote like, is because when I am up against a crazy defensive AI and I'm close to the goalkeeper, because chip shots are so inconsistent and so are tap shots, right? If I get close to the goalkeeper and I do that skill move, I will have the net to score against. And sometimes I won't, because here's what happens, right? You still have this mechanic in your game where someone pushes out their goalie like an idiot and you guys, for some reason, need to bail people out and then put your defenders blocking the goal. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two. Idiotic. If he's pushing out his goalkeeper and I'm over here and I do this against a strong defensive AI and I already have that angle to score against because he's already pushed. What happens is that people push their goalie in advance because it essentially acts like an extra defender. And then they know that their AI center back is going to go inside the net. That's what's going to happen. So they push it out earlier. The worst is when you're playing this park the bus play style and then you finally work the space because you'll only get those 2 or 3 attacking opportunities if you're trying to build up a play. And then he uses manual goalkeeping while you still have to think about timing a strike. Because guys, I tell you this all the time in the play reviews for the attackers. You have to time your strikes because if you don't, they don't hit them directly to the corners and with precision and power. Which guys, I'm okay with. They got me to a point where I actually don't mind the time finishing. I only mind it because manual goalkeeping is idiotic from 1v1 situations inside the 18 and because of the inconsistent gameplay, which is the biggest reason, okay? But still. Okay. So manual defending being stupid. Defensive AI reliance. Defensive AI is nuts in this game, guys. I need to show you this one clip, and I think it's in the Werner video. Just an example of this type of stuff just saving people, okay? Just absolutely saving people. So I'm gonna see if I can get this clip for you. Right, I've just muted the highlights. I remember specifically, it was me facing right to left, right? It was like a right to left situation. And I'm gonna see if I can find it here. So this is a goal. This is a goal. I gotta see if I can find the situation here. Right, so this is one of the meta plays, right? You get into the position and you got a croqueta, right? That's one of the things. I want to see if I can find the attacking opportunity here. Just as an example, because I think I left it in here. Let me see. So no, because it was the defender blocked it. No, not this one, because it was right to left. Here it is. That's the one. All right. Let's take a look at this attacking play, right? So to be fair, this gameplay is a little bit better. May I have an extra pass here? I could. But when you're doing stuff in the heat of the moment, like you're chalked at this point, right? But what did I tell you guys earlier about the 4 defenders? If you attack at a certain point, look at what I'm doing. Direct passing. What does direct passing do? It puts pressure against the defender. So once you get into this circle right here, that's where my soul drains from my body when I'm defending against it and when I'm attacking in it, okay? So create the space. He's not using any of these cards. He's overcommitted so many people. His right back, right? Look at his right back here. Let's go of the other attacker because the other attacker starts to move into the middle. I don't know why he moves into the middle. Couldn't tell you, right? Sorry. I'm attacking, create the space in the middle. So I've done this drag touch, right? I've done this drag touch. Guys, in the meta of this game, this is too close to the goalkeeper. I tell you guys this all the time in the player reviews. It's too close. So if you score this opportunity, it is based off of luck, right? Whether you get a chip shot, whether you get a tap shot, like if you get a tap shot and it goes through his legs, or a tap shot and it goes through him in general, it's because you got lucky, because this is too close, right? And I realize this, and I realize it when I take this touch, and I'm like, okay, this guy, in the moment, this guy's gonna be blocked, so I do this skill move, and his AI saves him. His AI saves him. He's already made 2 or 3 defensive mistakes here with the players that he has overcommitted, right? Overcommitting that guy, no center back, using this guy, blocking that area for the extra pass. I do a skill move, and his AI that's not being controlled is saving his life, because for some reason this guy in the side is moving into the middle, basically bringing this guy in, and it just, I can't score the opportunity. His AI blocks it. I laugh in this part. I literally go like this to the camera, because it's idiotic to save people in this way. That's not skilled. I'm sorry, it's not skilled, man. You overcommit 2, 3, 4 of your defenders, you do bad challenges, but you still get rewarded for it? Garbage. Complete trash. I had a feeling I was gonna find the clip really quickly. Okay. So let's see the stuff that I wrote down. Park the bus, drop back on the line inside the 18-yard box. I talked about the line already many times. Narnia defending. Narnia defending is this guy. This guy comes from Narnia to block the opportunity when he had nothing to do with the play. Because defensive AI is better than the actual person. Defensive AI, hear what I'm saying? Defensive AI is better than the actual person, okay? Switching still awful. Oh my goodness, switching. Guys, do you guys ever watch that podcast that I did with Kurt, where he freaked out because I was showing him how good the switching is in the offline experience? Like during that time period, I was like, brother, I will show my controller on the screen, and I was just right stick, L1, left, right stick, L1. And every single time I said it with my mouth, right, it was happening in the moment. You still don't get that in the game nowadays. Whether it's the servers, whether it's the inconsistent gameplay, hard to say, because I barely get good gameplay. So I don't know what the consistency would be like for the switching. But if we're gonna base it off of general experience, it's still complete trash. All right? I mean, the amount of times, bro, I'm like scrambling. I'm like L1, right stick, nothing. As if I'm incompetent to switch to who I want to. Yeah, even though I have that clip where I showed Kurt, where every single player that I wanted to switch to, it would switch to. Okay, Narnia defending, switching still awful. If you run ahead of the attacker, he doesn't attack the ball properly. Okay, so what I'm talking about is this, and you guys see this a lot in the player reviews as well, right? If I am the attacker over here, this is me, and this is the defender. Let's say that both of us are running in this direction like this, okay? There is a certain point in time where if you're using the defender, you know, Camavinga especially, bless Camavinga, best fullback in the game, lengthy, 99 acceleration, 99 sprint speed, like you need this, right? Okay, so let's say you're Camavinga in this situation, this is the attacker. You will get to a point, at some point, where if you're defending, your Camavinga will go ahead of the defender, and the ball will be here. That's where the ball's gonna be. Your player over here, your defender, doesn't lock on to the ball sometimes. He doesn't lock on. Go watch the Chouameni video, and you will see one example of it in the middle where I'm just like, oh, that mechanic usually doesn't work, but it worked this time, right? He will not lock to the ball if the ball's in front of him, even though it's this situation. And then you know what happens? The attacker's like, ho, this defender's an idiot. I'm going to go around him, collect the ball, and keep it going. Okay? That's another dumb mechanic. There's many in this game. FIFA 15 used to have like 3 or 4. The body feint, idiotic. I think in FIFA 15 they still had the chest accelerated touch, which was idiotic as well. But this game has like 30 different things. It's just absolutely ridiculous, right? Okay, the next thing here. Cursor defending means nothing. We mentioned that earlier. The corner kick from the bicycle kick. Woo, when I face one person that does that, I'm out of there. You want to be a rat? Be my guest. Be my guest. I'm out of there, bro. I'm not going to face like off against people that go watch YouTube videos on how to be a rat. I'm good, bro. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. That I don't even know how to do the corner kick, because to even willingly search for it, it would raise my rat percentage from 40% to 45, 50 at the very least. That corner kick tactic specifically. Okay. There was another mechanic that I wanted to mention. There's 2 actually that I want to mention. 2 of them, and I didn't add this in my notes, right? because they just come up to me when I'm just reviewing this type of stuff. Another mechanic that is absolutely idiotic is two different things. One of the mechanics is this. So let's say you actually are manually defending, right? How many times do you get the play off of someone? Like, let's say someone, for instance, gets this reverse elastical, like they do that 45-degree angle touch into the reverse elastical, like everybody does because they're all robots and rats, right? They do this, and then you as a defender, you actually get that ball properly, but then you know what your player does? He does, which is, it's still in the game. And it's, if you guys watch the video of me reviewing the gameplay with Kurt versus, I think it was Tex, I still remember to this day, his Paolo Maldini completely screwed him because they still do the drag touch with the defender. They don't just sharply get the ball and face in this direction while this attacker goes in that direction because you manually defended properly. Like, they should go in with their right foot or something and then just go forward, right? Possession-based challenge. They don't do that. They still do a drag touch in that direction. So because the momentum is carrying the attacker into that direction, all he has to do is collect the ball and score. I will show you guys a good example. Maybe, no. Which video was it? Was it in the Chouameni video? I did it once with Timo Werner in one of the recent reviews. It might have been in the Chouameni video. Maybe. Oh, it's going to be tough because I'm not going to look into a video and then I don't know exactly where it is because I score one of these types of goals because of the players doing the drag touch. No, it has to be sharp facing forward. The attacker's done because you manually defended properly. But manual defending in this game is complete trash, so you can't even say these things, okay? All right, so that's one of the things. Oh, and one thing, this is another thing. Guys, can I ask you guys a question? So you guys are watching the gameplay right now. I'm standing still. I'm not running. Is it possible for me to push the ball? Oh, there's another mechanic I'm going to mention too, guy. I almost forgot to bring up this one as well. Is it possible for me to push the ball standing still? For those of you that are experienced FIFA players, you will say no, right? You can't do it. It's not possible, right? Flick, 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 flick. You can't do it. It'll do skill moves. It's not possible. EA, why do you still have this mechanic in this game? Do you guys not have right stick switching on your defenders? You do, right? Okay, so why is it that when I receive possession of the ball with my defender, right? With my defender, let's say for instance, I'm using this guy over here, and then with my right stick, I'm switching to my center back here. I'm switching to my center back here, and while I'm switching to my center back here, my defender has already received possession of the ball. Why do you still push the ball in that same direction because it's registering the right stick flipping, the right stick switching from before? Why do you still push the ball heavily as if you are doing this? As if you're doing this. This mechanic is not possible to do standing still. It's not possible to do, but when I'm defending and I'm holding our trigger and I'm doing the jockey system, how do you still register a right stick flick pushing the ball as if you are running like this? Like you're doing this. How is that still registering? The right stick switching, EA, there is absolutely zero situation, zero, for a person to want to push the ball like that when they're defending. So that should be disabled immediately. This is how I know you guys don't play the game, because that's been in the game forever and you still haven't fixed that. The other thing that I was going to mention that's not in my notes as well, right, is this other mechanic that I think is incredibly idiotic. This has been in the game for years as well, okay? Have you guys ever just run? You're just running. Run, 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 run. You're just running, right? Okay. How many times do you guys play this game where every touch is consistent, right? Consistent, 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 consistent. It's the same thing the whole time, right? But then when it gets close, if the goalkeeper pushes you or you get close to the goalkeeper, even if he's like a certain distance away, your player no longer does that same consistent touch. No, he does an extra emphasis touch against the goalie when he's pushing against you, or you're close to the goalkeeper. They actually do that, which is what makes you slow down because you don't know if he's going to push the goalkeeper. So you have to time your R trigger that way, because if he pushes against you, he'll do extra emphasis giving the ball to the goalkeeper. That is such an idiotic mechanic. It should just be consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same touch every time. And I can see the difference. I can't show you in the skill games because it doesn't happen, but I know you guys play this game enough and you watch the reviews enough to know this. But you're doing this, he pushes the goalkeeper, and then that last touch is so emphasized, basically giving the ball to the goalkeeper. Now imagine dealing with him pushing out his goalkeeper and then the manual goalkeeper at the same time. I just want to leave the game when I have to deal with that. I have to deal with my player doing an extra emphasis touch because the goalie is close to me from an R trigger run, and then I also have to deal with manual goalkeeping. And then I also have to green time a strike because if I hit a regular strike, I may not score the opportunity. Maybe, depending on the angles that I'm hitting. EA, if your garbage mechanics didn't exist in regards to inconsistent gameplay and the way that your goalkeeper works from time to time, if these garbage mechanics didn't exist, whoever worked on the finishing this year, bless your soul, because we've never had finishing like this ever in FIFA, okay? Finishing has been horrendous every single year. 13, 14, 15. Listen, 15, you know what I had to do in 15? And this was actually a blessing because you guys know me. I think the skill is breaking down the defense and then you just scoring. You know what I'm saying? So FIFA 15 was cool because the most overpowered way to score in that game was just doing a tap shot, right? So what you would do is you would get close to the goalkeeper and then you would just do a tap shot and you would score it every single time. But it was great because we were like, oh, this is so overpowered. I'm like, yes, you're right. It is overpowered, but you have to beat the defense to get to that angle because that means you're close to the goalkeeper. So instead of me doing a tap shot consistently, I have to do this skill move instead because it forces the animation out of the goalkeeper. But I could still have the defensive AI score against me anyways, right? And I'm not saying you have to bring back this overpowered finishing because, like I said, I actually like your finishing mechanics in this year's game, right? But I will say two things that I don't like about the finishing. I'm getting sweaty under my knees. I'm not even joking. It's literally, I'm sweating because that's how passionate I'm being right now because this video is long. Your finesse shots inside the 18-yard box, complete trash. You have to have like a full meta card that has a finesse shot trait, all that kind of stuff. The finesse shot like here, this is a trash finish, complete trash. In the online experience, especially, it's so bad. It's so unbelievably bad. People try not, they will get into this position and they will still not they still won't even go for the finesse shot because like it just doesn't make sense for them to do it, right? Like they'd rather go for the power strike, get a green and then hit that ball like that, right? Because the finesse shots are horrible. And then the other one is, I don't like your chip shots in the game. Your chip shots, I just don't like, okay? Because in order for a person's chip shot to work, and this is the interesting thing when it comes to the CPU AI traits, is that in order for a chip shot to work, you have to have someone that has the chip shot trait so it really hits that certain loop on a consistent basis, okay? But your chip shots, when you don't have the loop, they're just so unrewarding and very inconsistent from runs, from the jockey. Very inconsistent. At some point, you can get it down, you can green time them, but I just don't like the authenticity of it, personally. Do I like it when the person actually has the chip shot trait? Yes, it actually comes out really nice. There's a nice loop to it. Every time a player has it, it's really fun to utilize, right? But you guys can work on your chip shot animations. The way that your goalkeeper responds to it, the best was Pez, man. Pez, I think 3 or 4 years ago when I tried it, their chip shot, I don't think EA is ever going to replicate. The chip shot makes you feel like a beast, man. It makes you feel so, like you get into this situation here, right? There's a chip shot on Pez where I would do like a chip shot like that. You see that, you see that animation, bro, the way that they would hit it so that it would kind of curve into the back of the net. Oh my goodness, it was so nice on a consistent basis too. It was sick. And in FIFA, like you can do it, but online, man, it's so inconsistent. Sometimes the goalies, they don't even do an animation, right? In the online experience, sometimes they just stand there and they'll just block it because they have no animation to go on the floor. It's really weird, okay? So those two mechanics specifically, complete trash, but your other one's good. So, hey man, I can't be at 100% with you guys. Like there's some things that you guys did okay, the finishing. The only other mechanic that you guys did okay was the goalkeeper situation when someone is wasting time in the game, right? When someone is wasting time, they apply their elastic. We're going to talk about the community in a second, right? We have so much to talk about. This video might be 2 hours long. If someone is using the elastic on their PS5 controller, you're such a little rat that I can't even explain how much of a rat you are. I'm talking about the online. If you're in the offline, I can't even blame you, because who wants to play squad battles? You know what I'm saying? But in the online experience, for you to put an elastic on your controller genuinely just to waste my time because there's no objective that you're doing, you're such a little rat, okay? But they put an elastic on their controller, and I feel like, I don't know if EA intended to do this, but if you pass it back all the way to your goalkeeper, like in a situation like this, let's say Courtois is my goalkeeper, and he, just holds the ball with his feet, the timer doesn't go down when you're not touching your controller. So you can just do this and just, watch your other screen and watch your phone and watch the game at the same time, and the timer doesn't go down. That was also another good mechanic, because it's kind of hard for you guys to get rid of the rats in specific ways. If they stop playing, there's not much you can do. Some people are just like, they kind of just accept defeats, and they're not rats, and they're just like, yo, can you please stop scoring against me? And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'll just pass it back to my goalkeeper and I'll chill, right? No problem. So that was another good mechanic too, but that's it. Your other mechanics, complete trash. Anyways, attacking. Okay, attacking. Counter-attacking still too good when someone parks the bus the whole game. You should never in a video game reward someone for parking the bus. Guys, the park the bus meta in this game, this whole situation with this line, right? This situation in the older FIFAs, the only way for you to consistently come up against this is if you face someone that was using a 5-back formation, which we'll be getting into, okay? If someone is using a 5-back formation in FIFA, right? Back in the day, you were able to see the person's squad, okay? Because you were able to see the person's squad, back then it was horrible, guys. When I faced someone that was using 5-back, I never this was FIFA 15 when I used to grind a lot. I never liked playing it. It was FIFA 15 or 14, one of those ones where you could see the pre-game squad, right? Before you get into the game. So when I saw a 5-back, every single time I would leave, because no one wants to play that garbage. This is me, what is it, 8 years ago? Okay. Quick maths, 8-9 years ago, depending on what FIFA was, because I don't remember exactly which one it was, right? But quick maths. Guys, what I avoided back in the day is what I face every single game now. Every single game. There's no avoiding it. Regular me, again, like I said, I would just stop playing, because when I just bit the side of my mouth. When I see this pattern of play, I'm done. I'm just like, hey, wipe my hands. I'm GG's. I'm not playing against that. Okay. But that's what it is every single game, because of the default park the bus tactic. But then on top of the default park the bus tactic, you have players who have no mental health. It's gone. If they're because this when you do this, you're at 100% capacity. Okay. This illustrious formation, man. You guys already know what formation I'm going to choose, because you have pro players teaching you this. You have everybody in their parents teaching you this mechanic, right? And that mechanic is this one right here, the illustrious 5-4-1 formation. The 5-4-1 formation being one of the most effective, because you guys remember there was that certain time period where everybody was using it. People are still using it, right? Being the most effective tactic. If this is one of the most effective tactics to use in your game, that's how you know by default your game is a complete pile of garbage. The one thing I used to avoid all the time is what you come against all the time. So guys, what happens, right? Why do people switch to a 5-4-1? One, because they score one lucky goal from an R-Trigger Merchant run, where they use this one guy over here, run all the way here, driven past shots, they score the opportunity, right? And then they just park the bus the whole game because they're rats. They're willing to do that, right? Okay, why do they switch to a 5-4-1? Guys, you can't even blame people for switching to a 5-4-1, because the attack in this game is also not skill-based. It's not authentic football for the most part. It is the game playing for you. What am I talking about? They have to switch to 5-4-1 because they're trying to counter, right, the direct passing meta. The direct passing meta doing this the entire time. That's what they're doing. The reason why they're switching to this tactic is because they're trying to clog up their defense as much as possible to avoid the park the bus stuff. That's why they will only use these two players right here the entire time, and they'll let the AI do everything, because the AI tracks the ball better than if they were to do it, which you can't blame them for, because when you manually use a defender with the cursor on your head, people don't understand this, right? When your gameplay is not good, it's not responsive, very slow and sluggish, your players always drag. So sometimes you'll be controlling the ball, the player perfectly, left and right, but what happens is that sometimes you'll switch to the right, you'll want to switch to the left, but he'll keep dragging to the right. He'll keep dragging to the right even though you're not doing that anymore. But when your gameplay is good and responsive, they're pretty nice on the transition on a consistent basis. But that's why in this year's game, I always told you guys since the very beginning, you have to get Full meta defender. Do not go for fun concept. It has to be full meta in this game because they're idiots when they're not full meta. Idiots, okay? I remember starting my road to glory and losing games because my defense was horrible. And then the moment I got Koulibaly and Varane, I never lost for like 30 games. The defense is the most important thing because of how strong defensive AI is and how much better defensive stuff is when you're manually doing it, but it's still horrible, obviously, right? But that's what they're doing, guys. They're using this 5-4-1 formation because once they see those 4 or 5 attacking patterns of play with the direct passing, they switch to 5-4-1 right away because they just want to get the result, which to me in my head is completely meaningless because I'm just going to face some other bimbo that's going to do the same thing, okay? But they use this 5-4-1, park the bus tactic. It is what it is, right? So the same linear attacking plays with direct passing. Whatever formation you switch to, whether it's 3-4-2-1, whether it's 4-1-2-2, whether it's 4-3-2-1, you are still aiming to do the same patterns of play on a consistent basis. You just want players to be positioned a little bit differently for one thing. And that one thing is the extra pass meta, right? So you'll go over here with this attacker, you'll do a shot cancel. This guy will commit a little bit and you go into over here because what happens is that this guy committed while you're doing all that. And then this guy drags back, this guy comes back here. He goes into him, you do an elastico and you do an elastico like this. And then you just score the opportunity. That's the meta. It's the extra pass meta because again, where's the defensive line the whole time people are parking the bus? Like this with the 4 midfielders. And they're just like, oh my God, I'm the best defender in the game. Defending is not a skill. If you think it's a skill, you're an idiot. Okay? All right. Pace being strong again. Do you know why all these game mechanics are possible? Because EA made pace way too effective again. Guys, pace being effective was one of my biggest complaints in last year's game because this exact same playstyle that I'm mentioning to you is the exact same playstyle that we had last year. Guys, they literally brought this game back to what it was last year. You know what the main difference is in this year's game is slightly better attacking AI, right? And the shooting being better. Those are the only 2 mechanics, but the general gameplay is the exact same thing as last year's game for the new gen version of the game because it is a nothing game. Like I've told you guys over the last 3 or 4 years for new gen, it is a nothing game. There's nothing authentic about the new gen. It's a nothing game. You are playing a game of nothing. You're scoring these goals, you're defending these ways. It's a nothing game. For you to look at it in a skill-based way when your players feel this unresponsive, this slow, and even when it feels good, you're just doing the same plays all the time. It's a nothing game. Okay? Because you're willing to play it, guys. Me, sometimes I do play reviews, guys. I'm telling you, I face people where I'm genuinely, if my gameplay is slow and unresponsive, by default, guys, I'm not tryharding against you. There's no point I'm tryharding because tryharding, I only did one time this year, and it was from doing a rant video, people coming to the channel saying it was a results thing, right? And then I was getting really annoyed because I'm like, you think it's a results thing? Okay, let me go back to what I used to do in FIFA 17, where I would play the game to get my results and then go from there. That's why I stopped playing the game, right? Because it was such a results thing when your gameplay felt slow and unresponsive that we got 20-0 with the Portuguese team. I think playing with Boris Legends 4-2-3-1 during that time period. And it was the Portuguese team that wasn't meta. It had Bernardo Silva, it had Diogo Jota, and we still got it. I only did that, and you could see it. Go, be my guest. Search the video. Go search the video right before that one. It was the rant video. And the reason why I upload that 20-0 is to show people that it's not a results thing. It's because I am not willing to do the results thing to play this game because it's garbage. Okay? Pace being brought back was idiotic. I'm going to explain to you why. There's 2 different situations. One of the situations is that, in their words, it was such an idiotic thing to begin with. And the devs, that they ever watch this, they might watch this at some point and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, right? I made a tweet at some point this year where I was so happy that they nerfed the pace the way that they did. I'm going to see if I can search this tweet. Not to the maximum extent that they did, right? They overdid it with the patch, right? Where is it? I'm gonna see if I can find it, man. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna do my best here. inceptionxx pace. Oh, dude, look at me like ranting about the game. Direct passing, crab dribbling. Oh my god, crab dribbling. I haven't even talked about that yet. Step over acceleration, L1 elastical, OP defensive AI, bringing back OP pace. The list can go on and on. Many of these things I already brought up, right? Where if I can find this tweet, guys, it would be amazing. inceptionxx pace. You guys, do me a favor. You guys will be able to find it yourself. Honestly, you'll be able to find it yourself. Okay, let me tell you why pace is not a good thing. Because a person said to me in the Twitch stream, them bringing back pace fixed the game. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm the type of person where I'm like, guys, you should never really listen to what a person says. The way that you react in life is what's more important. Okay. But when this guy said this, because I'm so passionate about getting a proper football game, right? When this guy said this, it flipped a switch in my head and I went after him hardcore. I'm going to explain to you guys why. Guys, pace in a game from open play where people just do... Because you think pace being back is not to do the same. No, it's people want pace because they're headless. They're headless, no thinking, brainless, dumbfounded people you'll ever see in your entire life. They do not do a single, I bit my side of my face again. They will not do a single authentic build-up play because they're rats, okay? They want pace back so they could do this the whole time. Shoot. That's where they want pace. They don't want pace because it's like authentic. I've always explained this to people in the past. Pace from you doing one pass and being through on goal that is not an obvious through on goal. This is a very key thing to mention. Not an obvious through on goal. In a video game concept, you should not be rewarded. When it's an obvious one, then that's perfectly fine. Like they had it 1 year in FIFA. They had it, man. And then they changed it. I don't know. I think it might have been FIFA 18 pre-patch where they had the pace right, and then they changed it like idiots, right? But the thing that I like in pace, right, is from build-up play. The one, and I mentioned this when they like in the Rant video before, like months ago, I mentioned this exact same thing. When they did, because here's what happened. Okay, I'm gonna explain it to you guys perfectly. EA didn't intend for a pace to be changed. They did a dribbling patch, guys, for the controlled and explosive players. But their dribbling patch is what brought back the pace. That's why I always explain to you guys your dribbling stats have to do with your pace. Even in the old videos, you guys will hear me say this. And it was so noticeable when the patch came out because these guys were significantly faster, okay? But guys, people in the top divisions, they weren't using lengthy players in the beginning. They were still using controlled and explosive because it was all about utilizing those tight spaces quickly. And then during that time period, I would complain like, you know what? I like that people just can't do the one pass thing like a bunch of losers, right? I actually have to like build up a play to score. But the problem is that we're back to what we were doing before where there's this one line and you have to do this extra pass nonsense. They have to fix the park the bus stuff, which they never did the entire year, right? So their solution to fixing the park the bus is just to give you pace. So if I didn't tell you to do full meta before, I'm definitely going to tell you to do full meta even more now ever since that patch, right? People want pace back, but guys, you guys can see it with your own eyes. I don't complain about nothing. They brought back pace, and when they brought back pace, they brought back the same 4 or 5 attacking plays from people doing the same thing over and over again. They brought it back. The same thing that you did last year is the same thing that you did this year. And the problem that I have with this is that there's no coercion with these people like at all, because I have devs liking the tweets in the beginning of the year saying, because I was like, I love that these little, I went after people. I was like, I love that these little losers can't do the little one pass anymore, be through on goal and then score an opportunity just like that. Like you have to use a lengthy player, but during that time period is okay because a lengthy player doesn't have good left stick. So it's like, there's like a trade-off in a way, you know what I'm saying? Did I think that the pace was a bit too drastic on the controlled and explosive players? Yes, it was a little bit too drastic. If it was slightly increased, slightly, to get to the point of what I'm talking about, where an obvious opportunity should be through on goal and a non-obvious one should not, because you could just avoid people playing like little losers. Great, because guys, pace being brought back was only good for the build-up play part. The build-up play, when these players were explosive, the acceleration and sprint speed is fast. For the build-up play, where you get into the obvious attacking opportunities, That's where it was nice. And that was like, I think that was the first thing that I mentioned in the Vinicius Jr. review when it was the red card. I think it was the World Cup when I did the review for that one. I mentioned, I was like, I like that the build-up is fast. But when it's just a person doing one through ball, one lob pass to Petr Cech, and they just use the lengthy to run, you're a headless chicken. Petr Cech is one of the authentic strikers. He has pace because he just happens to have pace, right, with the lengthy. But he's a player that actually has like authentic build-up. But people don't do authentic build-up with him. They just run with him and do the same thing over and over again, okay? Skill moves. Listen, rats of the FIFA community, rats. Let me tell you something. The only reason why you're like, I hate that Inception says that this skill move shouldn't be in the game. I hate this. I hate this. The only reason why you think this way is because these are the skill moves you have to use to beat the garbage in this game. Some of the skill moves that I don't like. L1 Elastico, one of them. Stupid. Okay? That's one of them. This skill move, hated ever since the beginning of the game when they added it. I hate it with a passion. They're going to keep it in the game though. I hate it, but guess what? I only like it because at least when I'm up against the goalkeeper, which is a skill-based thing, by the way, so to beat the defensive players, especially with that line that they line up all the time, that's the only reason I like that. You guys will see me do that skill move all the time against the goalkeeper because it always forces an animation and it's always controlled just for you to have the open net. Boom, right? Controlled, no animation, you get the goal scoring opportunity. Guys, an overpowered way to score against the goalkeeper 1v1, I couldn't care less because you got to that position, okay? That skill move I hate with a passion. This one, oh my goodness, this one. Ooh, ball roll scoop. Such a FIFA thing, man. Such a FIFA thing to have. FIFA thing, man, to have a ball roll scoop. Oh, please. Croqueta pass, man. Oh, I don't even know how to do it. I never do this thing, but it's so dumb to look at. Croqueta pass. Oh my. Such a FIFA thing. FIFA thing. I see someone do a croqueta pass, I already know that they're a little rat, right? And then the one that I hate the most when I see someone do it is the step over acceleration. The boom. Step over. Boom. Oh, I hate that because they don't just do it like once in a while. When I see it, I already know they're gonna do it the whole time. I know they're gonna do it the whole time. Like imagine like building up a play in real life, and you have your I was about to swear, but YouTube doesn't allow it. Imagine having your right back doing a step over acceleration. Like, oh my god, man. Guys, I'm sure that there's more mechanics to talk about. Oh, McGeady cancel. I use McGeady cancel a lot. McGeady cancel is like, this is McGeady cancel. I don't mind this as much because this is an authentic thing. Like you're dragging the ball back with your right foot back and then on the inside. But it is a very effective tactic that beats the defensive AI, right? And I use it all the time because again, when you're up against that line over here, you need to be able to do that to score an opportunity. It's all about, you're just missing empty nets. You see what I'm talking about? Mbappe, glitch Mbappe. Yeah, so that one, like, it's okay, but it's still kind of dumb, to be honest. There's some skill moves that I like, to be honest, like a Burba cancel. I can't do it because Mbappe has skill moves, but a Burba cancel where you kind of stop the ball and then face the opposite direction. That's a pretty cool one. I don't mind that one too much. Let me see what else I have here. Oh, dude, I have to talk about this because we just talked about the skill moves that are like the main ones for the most part, right? But what's with it with the game this year and not registering your skill moves properly? Dude, I do elasticals that I know how to do, EA. Like I'll do it every single time, right? But when I'm playing online, your game is registering a roulette. Your game is registering this. Your game is registering the ball roll touch, like the ball roll little flick that. Like it's registering that. I'm doing an elastical. My player is doing step overs, and I'm like, what's going on, bro? You guys know how many times I do this elastical? Which, hey, I'm a rat because I have to use those mechanics to score goals when I'm up against these park the bus losers, right? In bad gameplay, especially. If I do that mechanic, do you know how many times I do L1 and he does a roulette? I can't even do it here, man. I can't even do it here, guys. L1 roulette. There you go. You know how many times like they just don't register your skill moves at all? And we still play a FIFA game where I can't do fake shots. My fake shots still don't register. I do a fake shot like this, he passes the ball away. Now, granted, it probably happens more because of the inconsistent gameplay. If you're playing in bad gameplay, it happens way more, but That's what we play, guys. That's the general experience most of the times, right? Okay, let's talk about the community. So, guys, the video is an hour and 30 minutes long. An hour and 30 minutes long. Let's talk about the community. Guys, with all these garbage mechanics, with the fact that you have to be willing to be at least a 30-40% rat, the people that you're going to face in this game, man, you're very rarely going to find someone that's just a cool dude. Very rarely, because you already have to be a rat to play this game. If your gameplay is at least at a 70%, I don't think you're as crazy. I don't. If you're at least a 70%, at least your gameplay like is a little bit responsive. But if your gameplay feels 95% of what I experience every single day playing this game, and guys, please stop telling me that my gameplay is good because you're viewing it in the Elgato. Please stop telling me that, because people who are experienced in this game and that know the difference in gameplay, like I think it was my boy Fade, right, in the YouTube comment section for the Werner video. I didn't mention the gameplay once, but he knew in that gameplay that my gameplay was fast and responsive without me mentioning it once. But then you guys watch me play a slow, unresponsive gameplay for an SBC at 1 o'clock. Guys, if I'm reviewing a card and the gameplay is slow and unresponsive, that is my experience with the card, because that's what the game feels like all the time. I still know who's going to be a monster when the gameplay is good, but you don't play in that gameplay all the time. So you got to deal with it when it feels like garbage. That's why Mbappe is the most used striker in the game, because all your other strikers feel garbage. Before I get into these things specifically with the community, if I play this game consistently as a regular person, because you guys know my main account is a November team. Okay, I still got OTW Ronaldo Sanchez and stuff, all right? If I play this game consistently, I would never touch any card that isn't an S-star tier card. My whole point of playing this game would be to only grind for S-star tier cards, because in this year's game, there's no such thing as fun concept players like I told you guys back in the day. No such thing, because they feel so bad nowadays. They're worse. That left stick, oh. The thing that I was mentioning earlier, the crab dribbling. Oh my, they do hot fixes for their garbage mechanics, right? I have to do this? I have to do this with the left stick just to be able to move a little bit. I have to crab walk like a little loser because your left stick is so... Guys, I face my left stick opposite. I'm not even exaggerating. I hold it for 2 seconds sometimes, they don't turn. But I have to go here, right? And then I'm running, and then I have to slow down, and then I have to do a left stick for him to do it. Because it's so dumb. The crab walking is the dumbest thing ever, man. Oh my goodness. It's... I have to mention this. This is one of my boys. It's one of my viewers, okay? I have faced this guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who he is because I mentioned them in the Twitch stream. I have faced this guy many times over the course of the years, more consistently when I used to play this game more consistently. So we're talking like 15, 16, 17. I used to face this guy. This guy's been in the community a long time, right? I, at some point, have faced him in this year's game, right? You guys could actually watch one of the gameplays. I don't remember exactly who it was. It might have been just a tactics video of me reviewing, like, I was just playing with my Portuguese team. It might have been. It might have been. I don't remember who it was. He'll be able to say who the review was. And in this gameplay on Twitter, YouTube, whatever it was, even he said that I have the most authentic football he's ever faced, right? Because everyone does the same patterns of play all the time. And I do it too, guys. The tactic videos, I say, good goal, good goal, good goal. And they're trash goals because I'm a content creator and I have to act like this is a normal video game. You know what I'm saying? But I will try my best to score authentic opportunities. And he says this. But guys, you know what happened, bro? I faced him again and he transformed himself into a 100% rat cheese player, bro. 100%. We're talking... direct passing, overcommitment. We're talking the L1. The amount of times I was facing him, he would just pass it back and just do this, the L1, pass it back, do 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 it, just to wait for one opportunity. Trash because of the default park the bus tactics. And then when I would attack against him, reverted to the super park the bus tactics. And I was like, well, my gameplay's slow and unresponsive, so I'm not gonna do anything this whole game. I'm playing nerfed. I can't play the way I want to play. I'm playing nerfed. And you know why I'm playing nerfed? I'm going to explain to you. Because this is not FIFA 17 version of Inception anymore. I no longer will compensate for gameplay being bad, because when the gameplay is bad, I am already turned off completely. So I'm not tryharding. It's done. I don't even feel it anymore. I'm doing reviews and I'm not tryharding, guys, because for a player review, it's fine because I'm just reviewing the one card. But to play regular football, it's done. I don't feel it anymore. You're facing a nerfed version of me, and then you're facing an extra nerfed version of me because I don't even feel like playing. Okay? So, the last thing I'm going to mention, the community. Guys, I'm not confused. I'm not surprised that the community acts the way that it does most of the time. It's like the stuff that you see on Twitter, the stuff that you see people doing with the PC stuff, hacking and scoring a goal, leaving against you, get the win. Foot champs record 20-0s. Nobody gets screwed over because of it, right? You have situations where, you know, people, the game will be 0-0 in the 75th minute. You get a penalty, they get a red card, they leave the game on 0-0, nothing happens in the game, right? You have the red card and then quit. You have a person that has no OBJ that needs to be done at all. Like, you know all the OBJs because you do it yourself, and then they just put an elastic on their controller and then waste your time completely. You have people that, like I was mentioning earlier, passing the ball in their own half the entire game because of the default park the bus tactics. There's so much, okay? And most of the rattiness that comes from the community, it comes from the way that the game is formatted in regards to the gameplay and in regards to the game mode content, okay? This video is going to be like 2 hours long. It's going to be such a long video. I apologize, but there's so much bad mechanics, guys. I haven't said something that I haven't meant to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still things that are probably missing because I haven't even gone to the menus part. That one we'll just brush up on quickly, right? But the ratty community, you guys in the YouTube comment section, man, you guys are great, bro. But you guys don't exist when I play this game, bro. If I'm playing the Elite Division, I face the biggest losers, man. The biggest. I really face a person that's just like, I faced one guy when the gameplay was good and he played good authentic FIFA and we tied 2-2 and I felt good about it. I was like, I conceded 2 good goals. I scored 2 good goals. Honestly, I should have scored a third, but the game's kind of weird sometimes. And he also should have scored a third. And it was one of those types of situations. I was like, you know what, 2-2 is fine. You know, I'm okay with this. That mentality of mine rarely happens, which is why some of it, a lot of you guys probably think that I'm a B word when I'm speaking in this way because it's all results thing. It's always a results thing constantly. It's always, oh, it's he wins, he loses. No. I'm playing nerfed because the game plays bad and unresponsive. I don't care what you say. It's been like this for 10 plus years. I'm playing nerfed because I am no longer willing to change my mindset to then play in bad gameplay, because the change in mindset is to turn off the game and don't play it anymore. That's what the change in mindset is. Okay? So the rattiness that comes from the community, I don't want to brush up on it too much because it's obvious. If you're willing to play this game and you're willing to deal with these game modes in this gameplay, you're going to be a rat already. If you're willing to deal with it, you're already going to be a rat, or you're addicted. It's one or the other. Okay? The last thing I want to mention is the menus. I just want to brush up on a few things when it comes to the menus. I will yet again mention these gameplay game modes are complete trash for the type of video game that you have. You're so idiotic for potentially creating the same game modes yet again for next year's game. You're so stupid, okay? Because if I play Division, let's say I play the game regularly, guys. Let's just say, all right? If I play Division Rivals and I get into the Elite Division and I complete my 8 games, and then you create a promo like this absolute horrible, horrendous nuisance to society promo in the level up promo. You do this promo, right? And then you make people play between Division Rivals, Foot Champs, and Squad Battles. All of those options suck, because for me to do one card is 25, 30 games. First of all, people don't have to have time to do that in one day because there's multiple cards to get if people want to actually play for all these multiple cards, right? 25, 30 games if you're actually doing the objective every single game. So you have to sacrifice normal FIFA to do those objectives. But if you're doing those objectives in the Elite Division and Foot Champs, those are your competitive modes. So what's the other solution? Squad Battles. Oh, buddy. Squad Battles. You want me to play Squad Battles? Are you out of your mind? Imagine creating a concept like this in these game modes. Are you dumb? if I were to play the game consistently, I'm not doing any of these objectives. I would have maybe done Thiago Dijalo or Renato Sanchez because they were like meta enough, and their objectives. Renato Sanchez probably not, because I think you have to do assists. I think Renato Sanchez was assists, I think. So that would have taken a long time if I was playing like serious FIFA, which is what it was if I was playing the game normally, right? And then Thiago Dijalo would have been different because he's like 10 games with him in your squad. Okay, that's manageable. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a decent enough center back. I could do that. But you have like assists with a card like Renato Sanchez and stuff, and it's just like, okay, I got to switch to like a 3-4-1-2 and try hard against a guy that is most likely not going to be grinding any objectives in the elite division, especially, or even foot champs. So it's like, okay, I got to go play squad battles. Yeah, let me get each individual card and then go do it in squad battles. You're idiotic. If you had all of these 3 game modes, but then you added the thing that I've been mentioning for the last 4 or 5 years, you added the tournament format. It doesn't have to be a World Cup. It doesn't have to be a Champions League. It doesn't have to be a Europa League. It doesn't have to be any of these things. If you added the format of that tournament mode where it is 3 qualifying games, you get rewards every game that you play. You get rewards for qualifying for the tournament, and then you play your 4 rounds in the tournament, and then you get rewards for winning the whole thing. That, to this day, is the best game mode you have had ever in your entire existence. Whoever made that game mode, bless you, because it's an amazing game mode. It's so simple, because the concept would exist like this. Squad battles would not be touched. That game mode can suck one, okay? Against AI. Oh, but I play squad battles because it's more relaxing. I'm going to play against AI and then never want to play against the online. I think that concept is crazy. My boy told me his brother does that, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, enjoy the game the way you want to enjoy the game. Enjoy, quote unquote, because this game is horrible. You're crazy to enjoy this game if your gameplay is slow and unresponsive, which it probably is most of the times. But that blows my mind, okay? But then the other thing is, I already forgot. I forgot what I was going to say after this, because just too much talking and too much ranting. If you had a tournament mode, this is the concept. This is how it'd be well balanced. You ready? Okay. So your draft, you have to do something about your draft, because your draft is horrible. You did the draft. It was the best thing when it first came out, and then you never did anything to it again. You're an idiot. Okay, so draft has to be done. Something has to be done to it. Division Rivals, you can keep it the same way as it is right now. Okay, during the week, I play Division Rivals. I get my 8 wins in the Elite Division, and then I'm done. Great, because then I have another mode on the side where it gives me gamely, this is the word I'm going to use, gamely rewards after every game, because back then they used to give you, I think it was a bronze pack for the World Cup mode. So that's great, because a bronze pack I can use from a bronze to a silver to a gold and then do SBC. So that concept alone is sick if you have like a duplicate storage and stuff, but you guys will never do that because you're a bunch of rats too, right? But I'm sweating, man. I've been talking a lot, man. Like, guys, I can waterbend this off my hand if I wanted to, okay? If you had Division Rivals, Elite Division, and then I play my 8 games, okay, I win my 8 games. Squad battles I would never touch. That game mode I'm not touching. Draft is the other game mode if I want to like use different cards, use some different formations, whatever, cool, right? And then you have your online friendlies that is specific to specific objectives, like you do where it's like your level up cup, like, oh, you have 5 games, you have to do this. Okay, sure. I like that too, no problem. Quantity amount in any game I hate, but sure, you have that in your game, whatever. It is what it is, okay? But then after all that, I can go and use all the red picks that I got, all the players that I got in a tournament mode where people are more prone, quote unquote, more prone, because you're still going to face rats that use full meta teams like little losers, right? More prone to facing different teams and using different squads that are good enough. Like, guys, they released a flashback Tim Ream. I could have linked him to Palinha, and I could have linked him to Booth, and that's a team that I would use. Honestly, even right now, I'd use an Elite Division. You guys wouldn't, but I would if I would consistently play the game, right? But people don't do this. But if you had a mode where people are more prone to doing this, it would be great. Maybe do like an objective with Team Ream as a flashback in your team. Like, win 14 games with Tim Ream in your squad. Like, not a score a goal with a defender or score assist with a midfielder. Like, no. Just have him in the team. Try to win your games, and then go from there. Great. Your players right now all stay in the lower divisions. People are like, oh, this guy's in Division 5. Division 5 is not Division 5. Division 6 is not Division 6, guys. You're not actually facing, I would say, 70-75% of the times, you're not actually facing a Division 5 or 6 person. You're facing a person that is a higher division player, but they have maintained a lower one to do objectives, which you can't blame them for because your game is formatted like that. There's more to talk about with the menu stuff. I think the menu stuff is horrendous. The last thing that I want to mention that has bothered me for the entire year, man, the settings, guys. My settings still reset when I play this game, bro. Save the profile, load the profile, restart the game, delete it, uninstall again. Doesn't matter, bro. It's still a thing in this game. The whole year, I had to start up this game and I don't even know what my best settings are. Sometimes I forget a setting. Like sometimes my analog sprint will be on and off, and I'm like, I don't even care at this point. The amount of times I've had to switch my settings is disgusting. That's it. That's pretty much it. It's already a long video. There's a lot to talk about. Like there's more, but I'm tired. I just want you guys to know, bro, like I appreciate the support you guys show the content. It means a lot to me because if I had to stream this game, I would absolutely lose my mind. I don't know how people can stream this game and not constantly talk about how horrible the gameplay is, with these people protecting it as if you are not playing an unresponsive, slow gameplay on a consistent basis. This version of me does not exist if you give me good gameplay all the time. It doesn't. With that Werner video, you will not hear me. I was just in a good mood the whole video. I was just having fun. But I don't get that all the time, so I can't have fun because your gameplay is a nuisance to society. Multi-billion-dollar company, and you have a gameplay issue like this that exists absolutely nowhere else because it's not an internet connection or lag issue or a server issue, because in the past I've literally experimented with it in the offline experience and it affects the offline as well. So you guys have some sort of coding in your game that will never give us the best version of the game because it's in there and you're never gonna fix it. And in your next year's game, all these clueless idiots saying, oh, but it's gonna be on a new engine, or they're no longer associated with FIFA, so they're gonna fix this issue. What do we play the same game? I'm so passionate about this, guys, because let me explain to you like how my life kind of goes by, right? I don't mind it as much nowadays because I do other stuff, right? Back then I used to stress way more because I used to specifically stream, right? I never used to do YouTube content. But now, you know, my weekends are usually the busiest. It's the time I stress out the most because I have to play so many games, and I have to play so many games in this horrendous, absolute nuisance of society, right? So many games to get the reviews out. But then my weekdays are not as bad because weekdays I could just do one SBC player, and bless the content team for this, because if I had to do like regular content, I would lose my mind, right? But you know, the consistent content with like, oh, here's a player pick, oh, here's a SBC for the main day. Great. I love that I can be able to do that, because after I'm done that on the weekdays, I do other stuff. I disconnect from social media. I'm gone. So don't worry about how I'm living my life and stuff, guys. There's no problem there. It was a problem in FIFA 17 and 18 when it was a little bit tricky there, okay? But we got to a point now. The YouTube does well. You guys support the channel like crazy, and I really appreciate it. Guys, listen, man. You may dislike me. You may like me for saying the way that saying and speaking the way that I do, but I'm telling you, the way that I am, you will not experience in any other gaming community for any other individual, because the problem that they have in their games will never be the same problem that we have in our games. And I actually think people in our community are genuinely insane for never speaking about this issue more than they should, because in Battlefront, they freaked out about a hero being paid to play, right? I think it was Han Solo and stuff during that time period. And they freaked out about that, but we've dealt with that for years in FIFA, and no one ever freaks out about it. How many of you guys have Team of the Year icon Ronaldinho? I'm sure some of you guys have played 3,000 games by now. Do you have Team of the Year icon Ronaldinho? I didn't think so. Okay. Thank you for watching the video, guys. There's probably a bunch of stuff that I missed out on saying, but that's pretty much it. This is me venting. It's 2 hours. This is probably the longest rant video I've ever done. And it's a rant video that I had to do because people need to know how it is, man. Like, I can't stand people playing a game and just... I'm sorry, it's one of those types of games you should complain. It's horrible. This issue is disgusting. It's actually disgusting. Like, vomit emote on the stream. Like, seriously. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I appreciate you guys the best. Tomorrow we're going to return to content because there is regular me and then there's Inception me, content creator Inception. Content creator Inception is trying to give you a good time. Deleting all the footage that I have to delete from the horrible gameplay so you guys just have a good time. I have to pretend like I'm playing a normal video game. And the regular Inception is done the SBC, get off right away and see you later. I don't play the game normally. You see my account all the time, guys. My account from November, no touch. It did the paste thing. Oh, even worse. Gone. See you later. Peace out, my dudes. I'll see you guys for the video tomorrow, okay? Love you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel, guys, because if I had to stream, I would lose my mind. Peace out. I love you guys, man.